How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Welcome, everybody. What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Ramiro. That's my boy, Will. And this is where we cover all things mixed martial arts. That includes individual disciplines sometimes, Will.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, like boxing, maybe?
Yeah, when there's nothing else going on.
Hey, so today we'll be covering Haney versus Garcia. We're also going to be covering what's next in the UFC after the massive event of UFC 300. But before we do, I want to remind everybody, let's like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, goes a long way. Whether you like boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, Muay Thai, you name it, we cover it all. So why not, right?
Combat sports. If you're here for combat sports, we're here for you.
Absolutely. If you don't like watching but you like listening, where can they find us, Will?
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on pretty much everything. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, or YouTube Podcasts now. Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, everywhere.
Everywhere.
Story
Literally
of the
just
Fight.
StoryOfTheFight.
StoryOfTheFight.com.
Everywhere.
Yeah, made it real easy for you.
All right.
Excuses.
So with that being said, let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. We had Haney versus Garcia, right? Look, there's been a lot of talk about this fight, a lot of chatter, a lot for the wrong reasons, kind of.
Yeah, it was bizarre, dude. Hey,
Okay.
shout out Toasty. Welcome.
What up, Toasty? Happy birthday, Toasty, by the way. He just had his birthday not that long ago, right? So
Shout out Toasty.
shout out, Toasty. So just let me recap a couple things, right, going into this fight.
From the lead up.
Yes, well, first off, if you don't really know, Ryan Garcia got really popular, right, through the social medias, famous for that body shot challenge that he started doing. Let me see here. He did a body shot challenge with Francis Ngannou, Juju Smith-Schuster, for those that don't know, famous football player there, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, other really popular YouTubers.
Mm-hmm.
And he grew a following, Will.
Yeah, he really did.
So let me ask you this. I think I asked you earlier. Who is the most popular person in the MLB? Who's the biggest star in the MLB?
Ohtani. It's got to be
Shohei Ohtani, right? 7.9 million followers on Instagram. Ryan Garcia has 10.9 million, dude. Ooh. So just wanted to bust that out just as a small comparison for people to understand just how popular Ryan Garcia is, how he started becoming so popular, right? Now, the same thing that has made him so popular, his use of social media, is kind of drawing some bad attention, if you will, because of some of the antics. People are saying like he's unhinged right now. People think he's using drugs.
Well, let's be honest. He is using drugs. I mean, the guy's been like a tweaker for the past like 6 months. Everyone's like, what the hell is going on with this guy? I mean, it's been weird. He's been just weird. He's going on like Illuminati rants. He's like sweaty in every video he's in. He's like all over the place in every video. He's like, yeah, like Toasty says, CTE Garcia. I mean, he's just like, hey, shout out Anonymous says, unhinged Ryan is a different beast. The guy is unhinged. You watch the video, like the press conferences for this, it's like weird. It's like not even trash talk. It's just like weird. And like, there's so many funny clips. There was one that somebody edited them into the office, sitting at like Dwight's desk and Jim's desk. And it's like Ryan Garcia barking and stuff. And then it like cuts over to Haney. He's like, is this dude even okay? Like,
His reaction was guy ain't he's not okay. He said,
yeah,
dude,
hey, there's
he's like, oh, there we go. So all this stuff going on, right? Like you said, 1 minute he's like barking, talking about like how in shape he is. The next minute he's praising the Lord. Then he's cussing everybody out and saying, hey, I want a piece of your mom. Like, all within the like 5 minute span.
Drinking
all
a
this
beer,
is going on.
Drinking a beer while weighing in, misses weight by 3 pounds.
And also, by the way, he had been mentioning for a while, right, that he feels like he lost that fight against Davis because of the weight cut, where he had to cut down to 136. But then there was also the rehydration clause in that fight that didn't allow him to gain more than 10 pounds after the initial weigh-in. So not only did they have the weigh-in of 136, but he had to have a weigh-in the day of the fight, and he could not weigh over 146, which he feels really threw him off, right?
Maybe
and I'm sure
weight
that.
Class then, right?
I'm sorry.
Maybe go to a different weight class then.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, let's be real, man. How many fighters don't do that, where they weigh in at a specific weight and then they just rehydrate and they gain another 15 to 20 pounds in some cases.
True.
You see in the UFC too.
But when that's your excuse for losing a fight, and then the next fight you miss by 3 pounds, it starts to make me think that maybe there's a reason.
Well, that's the thing. Going into this fight, there's people that were chatting and talking, saying, "Hey, Garcia's going to miss weight going into this," and we know this because he's been saying that he doesn't want to cut as much weight as he did against Davis to show everybody that it was a weight cut, all this stuff, right? So Haney catches wind of this. They're talking about it during the press conference, and Garcia throws out and says, "Hey, I bet you $500,000 I don't miss weight." And at that point, you hear his dad saying, "Hey, Ryan, Ryan, don't bet that."
Hey, we all know you're not making it. That was the plan from the beginning, right?
Exactly. That's the plan from the beginning. And so Ryan looks over at him and he goes, okay, whatever you say, Dad. Yeah. Oh, okay, I got you. And then Haney's like, "Make it 500,000 per pound." And he goes, "Okay, yeah." It's like, bro, like, did you not just listen to your dad right now? So he weighs in at 143.2. He was supposed to have weighed in at 140. So that's $1.5 million. And then the date.
Haney said he paid it.
Later on that night, Haney tweets saying came through on the bet, right?
Yeah.
So this is everything leading up to the fight.
Dude, they did a psychological wellness check on him before the fight, because people were saying this fight shouldn't even be sanctioned because, like, clearly he's exhibiting like some issues, mental issues, and they were like, "Hey," and to the point where the commission's like, "All right, maybe we do need to address this." Then they said they were good, and I have a feeling that when they met with him, he was like, "Hey guys, this has all been a sham. I'm okay, and this is just to sell the fight and get some eyes on it. You're welcome, by the way." Because he came out and fought, and the post-fight, the pre-fight interview I saw him do in the locker room, he's like totally normal. He's like, yeah. I mean, it seems a little too good to be true that it was all just fake. Because it was the lead up. It wasn't even just this fight that it was for the lead up for. Like, even before this fight was announced, the guy was like going on crazy rants on social media and Instagram Live and stuff. But clearly he's okay enough to box, you know?
Yeah, clearly, man. So, all right. So that's the lead up. That's going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
All right. So the first round, they come out and we got to talk about the walk-in.
Yeah, the walk-ins were cool. Not too crazy, right?
Hey, the crown, by the way, legit, dude. The crown was pretty legit.
I like the crown. It fits, right? King Ryan, all this stuff. He's working out in the locker room with like a group of like 7 like violin players and shit. They're all playing classical music while he's warming up in the back in his locker room.
And then the dude that actually put the crown together was talking about how it's like, I forgot how many grams of gold and how many carats of gems and diamonds on that crown. I was like, geez, man. I guess 1.5 million. If he's able to drop that kind of cash on a crown, 1.5 million on the weight loss, on the weight cut.
Yeah, maybe that stuff goes away quick, man. People, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of boxers end up broke, dude. Like, maybe chill a little bit.
But dude, also, I wonder how much money he's making off Instagram too, though. With 10.9 million.
Yeah, probably
and YouTube. You know, so still also be careful with your money. But okay, so we got the first round that starts off right, and right off the bat, first round, Garcia lands that beautiful left hook that he's known for
immediately,
and rocks Haney.
It immediately,
like right off the bat. And you could see that right after that, Haney became a little more hesitant the rest of the round.
Yeah. He's like, "Ooh."
Trying to size him up. I was a little worried, though, because Garcia, when he throws the hook, is also known to leave his chin up and drop his right hand. We saw it happen against Tank, right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. First round, catches him with a solid left hook, gets Haney
Mhm.
to be more hesitant. First
Yeah.
round, easy
Easy,
round for
Garcia.
Garcia, right?
I mean, he just came on with so strong that first round that it was like, Haney was pretty much pure defense that round for the most part, and he got hurt. So like, yeah, obvious 10-9 for Garcia. Second
Yep,
round, a little bit of a different story.
absolutely. Haney starts
Oh,
coming out with that jab.
yeah, it's like immediately, and it was very good. Um, and you could see Garcia's good. Obviously, he's good, but you could see sometimes he tries to really force that left hook. I mean, you see it right here. There's a shot of him eating a right hand while he's trying, like he's trying to whip that left hook, and he's way open for this right hand. And you can see him just reacting, trying to throw it to the point where like Haney, all he has to do is shoulder feint. He'll draw out that left hook, and then he can counter. And like it's just it's coming, and it's like, hey man, you need to set it up, because like against these like top echelon boxers, like it's just, you're not going to be able to just force that,
Yep.
or are you?
All right. So after the second round, what would you say that round goes to Haney, right?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had King Ryan taking round 1, and then Haney taking 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 was the kind of like little bit of a new, because I mean 2 through 5 was just pretty much Garcia missing with the left hook and Haney picking him apart with the jab, in my
That's
opinion.
so funny, dude. Looking at it right here, I have second round Haney, third round Haney, fourth round Haney, fifth round Haney.
Yeah,
Haney starts landing that overhand right as
he
well.
follows up behind the jab.
Garcia sitting way too much on that left hook and just waiting for that left hook
Also the
on
same
his
exact
back
notes.
foot the entire time, man. The back foot the
Yeah.
entire time with Haney pressuring. So even when there wasn't too much action, it was
Mhm.
Haney that was pressing the entire time, right? Which is not a good
Yeah.
look for Garcia if you're just in back and waiting. Also, uh, fourth round gets started trying to use that shoulder roll.
Can you even call it a shoulder roll?
No, no.
Yeah. Let's go
So
back a pick, Rich.
he rolls so hard that he essentially starts turning his back to
Yeah. It's
Haney.
like you see him start to tuck his chin right behind the chin, and you're like, or behind the shoulder, sorry, and you're like, all right, he's gonna try to roll counter with that right, but instead he just turns all the way over, and you're
Yeah,
like, that's not a good look. It might, in boxing, you can do that because, I mean, you're not supposed to, right? But you can do that safely just because you know the weapons that will work in a fight against somebody who's doing that, you're not allowed to do, right? You can't kick him in the legs, you can't kick him in the head, you can't take him down, you can't jump on his back and choke him. But in boxing, really the only thing he's giving up is like the kidney, his left kidney. Otherwise, you're gonna have to like reach around him to hit him well. And Haney really never could find that angle, so he had to resort to just throwing that right hand to the left side of Garcia, which it's scoring points, but it's not. I think the difference maker in this fight is the fact that when Garcia lands, it affects the fight moving forward. Whereas when Haney's landing, he's scoring points. It's not
yeah,
really going to carry over, especially not shots to the back right there. Like you have your lat right there. It's a big piece of muscle blocking you, but it's a terrible look for the judges. Really bad look for the judges.
yeah. And when he first started doing the normal shoulder roll,
Hmm.
Haney, was throwing the jab and it was bouncing off the shoulder a little bit. But then he started coming up and jumping into a left hook while
Yeah,
he had the shoulder roll and caught Garcia a couple times. And so you
yeah,
see him start turning a little bit more, ducking his head a little bit more, right? And at this point, the ref has to separate him when he
over and
sees
over and over
Haney
again.
pretty much jump on his back and start just jabbing away
Yeah.
at his kidney, and the ref separates him, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, that was the strategy going in where Garcia's like, look, I'm just going to completely take away his weapons and make him reset when he actually starts pressuring. I don't know if that's something that he decided to do halfway through the fight or I
Well,
don't
the
know.
commentary team was talking about how in the pre-fight interviews with the fighters, he was talking about, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna bring out this shoulder roll like I did last fight, and his coaches all like rolled their eyes, like, no, like we told you not to
Classic.
do that. This
Uh,
Look, the sixth round, in my opinion, watching it the first time, I scored it for Haney. I rewatched it right before we went live because that was the closest round, in my opinion. Um, the first 30 seconds is a big, nice flurry from Garcia, But the whole rest of that round is Haney walking down with a jab, forcing him to turn completely around, hitting him in the body. That's the toss-up round for me. I think I still maybe edge it to Haney. I think Garcia outstruck him. It was all in the first 30 seconds, but I mean, turning your back, the body language is just so bad.
And what round is this you're talking
That's
about? The
round
fifth?
6.
6. Okay.
Yeah, that was the toss-up
Uh,
round because he started doing that leaning away in the 5th, but in the 6th, it was like for 2 minutes, it was like him really going to that well, and it was like, oh, that's not good. You're not fighting, you know?
yeah. That one on the 6, I edged it to Garcia,
Yeah, the first 30
because
seconds he was landing on him.
yeah, but that was pretty much any significant strike,
True,
any
true.
significant shot, power shots that were landed in that entire round,
Yeah,
and not to any fault of Haney's, because again, Garcia was doing that little turn and duck move that
yeah.
he was doing. But the most significant moment of that round, the most
Mhm.
damage inflicted, was Garcia's right hand that
Yeah,
landed in the first 30 seconds of the 6th round. So at this point, I have it 56-58, Haney winning at this point,
mhm.
right?
Yeah, makes sense. Then
We
the
go to the
big round.
7th round. Ooh, dog.
Now we can go to the next picture, Rich.
Oh my God. Another massive left hook
Yep.
that drops Haney, man. Holy
Yeah.
smokes. That was a beautiful left hook, too.
Well, that's why everyone calls him a one-trick pony, right? One-trick pony. All he has is a left hook. All he has is a left hook. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good. And when you have
It,
12 rounds to land it,
you know who
it's
else
good.
knew that he had to watch out for the left?
Yeah,
Haney.
Haney.
You know who
Yeah,
got caught with the left multiple times? Haney. Dude,
yeah,
these guys are next level, man. Garcia's next level. But the nice thing about this hook was that it was landed in close quarters, man.
yeah. Nice
It
and
wasn't
tight.
him lunging again for that left hook.
Mhm.
It was when they were in close or exchanging, and he just catches him with that left. And dude, Haney looked really hurt. I didn't know he was going to be able to get up off that.
Well, the way he got up, he kind of turned over to his belly, and like when he was first trying to get up, instead of like that push-up position, one of the hands was like it was like this and
Yes.
pushing it, and I was like, oh, that's never a good look. That's a bad
And
look.
then,
And then he gets up and stumbles. And you're like, oh. But then he comes forward and you're like, okay, he's good. And then it's just him trying to survive. There's a lot of people who
dude,
think it should have been stopped the 7th round. I disagree. I think he slipped a couple times and fell trying to get into the clinch. And people were like, he's out on his feet. Call the fight. I disagree. I think he was fine. Well, he wasn't
I
fine, but I think he could continue.
this ref, man. Like, by the way, this picture right here,
Yeah.
classic,
Yeah.
classic.
Very good.
Um, but this ref separates Garcia, right? Pulls him off Haney,
Mhm.
goes, does the 8 count, wipes his gloves, checks on him again, tells him to walk forward. It's like, all right, dude, we just gave him like 12 seconds. Let's go, right? Like,
Yeah.
cut him loose. Cut him loose.
Well, Anonymous, real quick, says, "Be afraid of the guy that practices the same move 1,000 times than the guy who knows 1,000 moves," or however the quote goes. Yeah,
Bruce
exactly.
Lee.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's a fantastic quote, man.
Alex Pineda.
Huh? So good, dude. But yes. So
But then,
now they're
while he's
going
still
through their
hurt,
clinching. Yes.
yeah,
Are you talking about the cheap shot?
yeah,
Okay,
go for it.
explain the cheap shot.
Okay, so there he has him hurt, and Haney's like clinching, right? Because he needs to, to survive. And there's a point where they break, and Garcia just bop, catches him real quick while they're being separated, and the ref's like, "Whoa, dude, you can't just
Yeah.
do that." And he takes a point. So now instead of a 10-8 round, it's a 9-8 round,
Yes.
and
And
Haney
by the way,
survives.
when I first saw that, I was like, it was a slap. And then I saw the replay later on at the end, and I was like,
It was
oh, he hit
good.
him hard, dude.
Yeah, it was
He
good.
hit him real hard. He got
Yeah,
him.
Haney no-sold it too. While he's already hurt in that round, he just keeps walking. You're just like, damn, this guy's he might be out on his feet.
Yeah, he's
He's
savage.
so hurt. He's safe. But
But
then,
what could have, in my at least scoring, and everybody knows that my scoring is what matters the most, not the judges in Vegas. But if he wouldn't have gotten that point deducted for that cheap shot, we would have been
Mhm.
66 at this point. But instead,
Yeah.
we're still going in Haney 66-65,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
8th round starts.
8th round, Haney's back on that jab. Garcia's slow. And you're like, did he blow his wad trying to finish him there? Because in my opinion, 8 and 9 I thought they were clear Haney rounds.
Ooh, me
jabbing him up,
too. That's
piecing
what
him
I have
up,
it scored.
walking him down. But then we get to the 10th.
But by the way, 9th round at that point, 56-23 in power punches in favor of Garcia.
That's all he throws.
Right? 56-23. Now, they didn't
Yeah.
show any of the jab stats, but I'm sure it would have been heavy Haney.
Well, I can tell you that Garcia landed 11 jabs the entire fight.
Woo,
He averaged
probably
less than one jab a round.
Yeah, wow. That's
So,
crazy.
yeah, numbers. Yeah, they don't always tell the story, right? But 11 jabs through a 12-round fight is hilarious.
That's crazy.
But 10th round, Garcia drops him again. A good one.
Yep.
Nice
Extends
shot.
a combo as
Yeah,
Haney's
that's
backing
what
up,
was
going
good.
into the corner. Yes,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just the left hook, right? Hits him with the left, right, all the way back to the corner, and catches
then,
Haney with a couple of shots, and
jumps in with the last one.
Drops. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and then 11th
By the way,
round.
the excessive holding though in the 10th round, holy smokes, dude!
I know, dude.
Like,
I
at what
know.
point do you say, "Hey, we're going to take a point for this too"? Because we understand it's a part of the boxing game, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's a part of boxing. But when it's so excessive to the point where, like, he's not
Yeah.
even trying to
Oh,
bob weave, he's not trying to do anything. He's like just going as quickly as he can. In some cases,
Yeah.
ducking, and like it looks like he's going to go for a takedown, but no, he's just
Yeah,
holding on for
dude.
dear life, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah, and here's a picture of Garcia turning his back. But you know, the 11th round, so he drops him in the 7th. He loses the 8th and the 9th. He drops him in the 10th. And then the 11th comes around and he drops him again. And you're like, man, you can't just keep getting dropped. Because not only are you dropping rounds, but they're 10-8 rounds. Those add up quick, you know.
100%,
They add
man.
up so quick, dude. And you already had 3 of them. One of them had a point deduction, so it's a 9-8 round. But to get dropped in 3 rounds, it's really difficult to come back and win a fight after that. 12th round.
Oh, by the way, end of the 11th, I have it 103 Garcia, 102 Haney at that point.
I don't know what I had it at that point, but I had Ryan winning the first, and then the 7th he had the 9-8, and then 10th and 11th he had 10-8s, and then the 12th, I think Haney was not there anymore. He got dropped 3 times at that point. It's the 12th round. Garcia is showboating most of the 12th round. Fun fact, he landed his best jabs goofing off in the 12th round.
Yeah.
He did the whole fight, dude. Oh man, but I thought he edged that 12th round. I don't think the 12th round was close though. Just because there wasn't a ton of volume in it. But I give it to Garcia. I think the broadcast scorer, the guy who has it like for the event or whatever for the production, I think he gave Haney that 12th round. But
I gave it to Haney too.
Yeah. So I think we have the same scorecards, except you gave King Ryan the 6th, and I gave that to Haney, and then I gave the 12th to Garcia. You gave the 12th to Haney. So does that mean we both had 112, 112?
112, 112 draw is what I had.
Yeah, I had a draw. Ganscow, shout out Ganscow. That's crazy. This guy was able to still win. LOL. Straight from the John Jones playbook. Dude, he said he was just drinking the whole week leading up to the fight, just like not giving a fuck. Anonymous says this was Ryan versus Haney, the ref, the judges, and the voices in his head. I saw somebody say Haney got jumped by all 3 voices in Garcia's head.
Dang, dude.
Damn, dude.
Rough, man. Rough. And hey, going into this, and I think it was Haney plus 860. Oh no, minus 860. Garcia plus
really?
650 or something like that. Like the odds are pretty crazy.
Dude, he did shock the world with this one.
Oh, dude, yeah. Shout out my brother-in-law Rob, who even said he's like, man, I wouldn't be a bad bet to just drop $100 on Garcia and just see what happens. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if he actually did or not, because we all know that. Hey, the kid can box, man. He can box.
Oh, I mean, yeah, he definitely can. It's just like, man, sometimes you just wish you took it a little bit more seriously, you know? But this shows.
Maybe he does.
Maybe he does, yeah, and it's all fake, right? But
yes,
you know, this is one of those deals where when he fought Tank, he got finished, and everyone was like, yeah, this guy is not the elite that everybody thinks he is. This is what happens when he fights an elite boxer. Dude, Haney, I know the narrative is kind of changing already online about Haney after this fight, but I mean, he's an elite
Recency
boxer.
bias.
Yeah,
He
he's an
is.
elite boxer. I think this speaks more to
WBC junior
Garcia,
welterweight champ.
and he didn't lose his belt in
Undefeated.
this fight. You know,
He
he
did.
didn't lose his.
And dude,
He didn't.
that's the other thing with Garcia going in and, they're like, well, you're not going to be able to win the belt anymore. He's like, dude, I don't care about the belt. I'm going to knock
Yeah.
his head off. Like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And you don't know, like, how legit that is. But if he did go into this planning, I'm going to miss weight. It is what it is. Like,
crazy, dude.
I'm not going to win the belt, but I'm going to put up a good fight, and I'm going to make a lot of money doing it. Then more power to him. You know what I mean? By the way, at the end, you go post-fight interview, and I thought to myself, like, this could go really, really bad. But it wasn't. It wasn't too bad. It was a little cringe in the beginning, but dude, he went normal there. And I don't know if people picked it up, but he went normal for a second, right? When they asked him about his defense, and they're like, hey, you had mentioned this shoulder roll. Your coaches didn't want you to do it. What's this defense? And then he just, like, his demeanor changed, his voice changed. He goes, man, I don't know, man. I have ADHD, and sometimes I don't know what I do.
He's like, I just started doing stuff. And he's like, plus I had that extra 3 pounds to cover my kidneys, so I was fine.
Dude, it was like he went totally normal, and I was like, oh man, it's nice to hear that version of Garcia.
There he is.
Yeah, the normal voice, the one that lives in his head the entire time, doesn't just come in every once in a while. But yeah, it was a good fight.
Good fight, fun fight, entertaining. Ganskow says the weight miss is really the only thing that I'd care about. Yeah, that's yeah, you can't just be missing weight by 3 pounds. In boxing, you cannot miss by 3 pounds. That's a huge deal. So it's like, as impressive as him beating the odds and all that stuff is, the dude was basically another weight class in this fight. So, like, let's kind of come down to earth a little bit on it. I see some people saying oh, he beat the odds, proved all the doubters wrong, which, I mean, he did because he fought an actual fight, right? But it's not like he's not. He fought in a different weight class, damn near. Like,
but if there's anybody that should have cared more about it, it should have been him.
Yeah,
and he still took the fight and took the 1.5 million.
True,
on the
bet.
And
he still won most of the rounds, so it's all good.
There it is, man.
These are the scorecards.
For anybody just listening, by the way, highly recommend watching on YouTube, because we share pictures, so you can go along with what we're talking about. And Will's sharing a picture of the scorecards.
Anonymous says, you hate on me because I'm pretty and shit. That's fucked up.
That was one of the quotes it was so funny.
Yeah. Judge Max DeLuca gave it 112-112. That's how we had it. Actually, me and Max DeLuca had the exact same scorecard. Eric Marlinsky had it 114-110 Garcia. He gave Ryan the 1st, the 6th, the 7th, obviously. The 9th, which I don't know how you do that. The 10th, obviously, the 11th, obviously, and then he also gave him the 12th, and that was Robin Taylor. I don't know what the fuck you were doing. 115-109, he gave King Ryan 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. That is crazy. I don't know how you could give 8 and 9 to Ryan, but Robin found a way.
Interesting.
Yeah, Anonymous says, to be fair, they both rehydrate up to 160 plus. I hope they run it back at a heavier weight, though. They do probably fight close to the same weight, but anybody will tell you those last few pounds are what makes the difference, and those last few pounds for sure have an effect on you on fight day. Cutting those last few pounds do have a difference, regardless of if you fight at the same weight at the end of the day while the fight's happening. Your body going through that it takes a toll on your body.
It's so funny you say that, because shout out Dom, who texted me, said it was a great performance. Do you think him being overweight made a difference? I said, I do. 3 pounds doesn't sound like much, but a lot of these fighters say that it's like death getting rid of the last few pounds.
Yeah. It takes a toll. Ganskow says, where does Sean O'Malley fit into this? Because Ryan Garcia is talking about fighting Sean O'Malley all the time.
Man.
I mean, I wish we could have fun fights like that. Sometimes we need fights that just don't matter at all, and like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to happen. Did you see Sean O'Malley's recap of the fight?
I did not.
No.
No.
He's like talking about the defense, and then he's like, yeah, when he does this and he turns and like he sticks his butt out and like starts backing it up into Tim Mulch. And he's
Classic.
like, yo, dude, come on, Sean O'Malley,
Oh
hilarious,
my
dude.
god, dude.
But yeah, that was the boxing match, right?
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Props to King Ryan for the performance. Say what
Mhm.
you will, he hands
He did
down
it.
can throw down, box. Excellent performance against a really good boxer in Haney.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
All right,
Let's
man.
make weight next time.
Or not, and
Or
just keep
not.
on
Who
giving
gives a fuck?
500,000 away for every pound you. Dude, there's probably gonna be fighters like, dude, I hope he misses weight, and I hope he bets me the same thing because I'll take
Yeah.
1.5
same.
million.
Yeah.
I'll take 2 million. Like why not? But yes. So now that we covered some boxing, we're gonna talk about UFC, and you might be thinking, what? There was no UFC event last night. There's no UFC this weekend. You're right, but there was a major UFC event not that long ago, UFC 300. And now we're
Yeah.
going to be talking about what's next. Like if
What
you're
is this
the
post
UFC,
300 world?
yeah, what do you set up after that? After such a crazy, insane card, and we put together a little preview, right, Will?
Yeah, there's not much to talk about. I'll probably once we cover these UFC fights, we'll talk about a couple matches from Karate Combat that I want to talk about briefly.
Karate Combat.
Dude, Karate Combat's fucking coming up in the
Holy
world. They really
smokes!
are. I know this whole show has been me saying, you got to watch Ryzen. You got to watch one. And now it's Karate Combat. But they actually did put on some good stuff. Ganskow talked about it earlier. Yeah, Karate Combat put on the best fights yesterday. They figured it out with the pit, dude. They do some cool stuff. But yeah, let's talk about what do we have? What is the UFC doing to stay on top after UFC 300? We go to the Apex. UFC Vegas 91 is next week. We got Mateus Nicolau versus Alex Perez. That was supposed to be Manel Kape, but he pulled out.
Again, your boy.
God damn it.
By the
but
way,
now,
he was your pick, I think, to end the year with a title, and you're like,
I
"This
know.
is the year."
Yeah. Well, Kai Kara France is calling him out again. So if they book that fight, it doesn't even matter that he missed this one because you beat Kai Kara France, you might get a title shot.
There you go.
We got Ryan Spann versus Bogdan Gushkov, the Orc, the Pale Orc. That's a Apex fight if I ever seen one. Silva versus Lipski's not bad. That's a fun fight.
Nothing ever with Lipski's bad. Okay.
Jonathan Pierce versus David Onama is also good.
Oh, Dirty
we got
Bird.
the Dirty Bird. Always stick around for a Dirty Bird fight. Victor Henry versus Hani Yahya is fun. If Hani Yahya was 5 years younger.
Is that about it?
That's about it.
Gabriel Benitez is always fun.
Versus Mahashete. That's actually a fun fight too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's an Apex card, huh? We're back to the Apex.
Dude, the most Apex card I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there with the Apex cards of all time.
We go back to that one post that I commented on where they're like, dude, this UFC 300 just created so many new fans. And I was like, yeah, and then the UFC is just going to feed them a bunch of Apex cards for the next couple of years, dude. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So far, meh.
Yeah. What do we have next, Rich? What's the next week after that? On May 4th, we have UFC 301, Pantoja versus Irseg. Irseg. The Australian Michael Scott, as everybody calls him now. That's a fun fight. Irseg is just getting an opportunity here, I think, because he had a fun knockout. He didn't really climb through the ranks quite like you would think someone would need to get a title shot, but with Manel Kape pulling out of the Nicolau fight and Mohamed Mokaev saying that he feels like he doesn't deserve a title shot after his last performance, but then they give it to Irseg, and then Mohamed's like, what the fuck? And you're like, dude, you literally said you weren't ready yet. Like, that's probably why they passed you up. But we got Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo in the co-main. That's a fun fight, dude. I think Aldo left the UFC before it got too bad. Right? I think Aldo wasn't looking terrible when he left the UFC. He just wanted to box. And then
he was still very competitive.
Yeah, and the rumor is he wanted to box on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson card for Netflix, but the UFC blocked it because they don't want anybody doing anything with Jake Paul. So he had to come back to fight his one fight left on his contract so that then he can be free because he retired with one fight left. So we'll see.
And by
I
the
don't
way,
know.
tough matchup.
It's a tough matchup. Martinez got the
Sure.
great leg kicks, but Aldo is the best, I think, has the best leg kick defense in MMA history. So
Well, I'm saying
I
it's a
don't
tough
really think
matchup
it's
for
gonna,
where Aldo is in his career right now.
no, 100%.
Like prime
Yeah.
Aldo would absolutely just mop the floor with Jonathan Martinez, with all due respect. But
I think
I mean,
Martinez
come on.
probably knows that.
Yeah, and he's been out for over a
He's been
year,
out for a
right?
while. He's been boxing. He did a couple boxing fights, but Martinez, he's got the leg kicks, but I don't know. I think Aldo knows the leg kick game, offense and defense, so well that I just don't see it coming into the factor. We got Paul Craig versus Borrelio. Anthony Smith's gonna get knocked out by Vitor Petrino. Michelle Pajeda versus Potieria. That's a fun fight. That's going to be a wild fight. Both those dudes are wild. Drakkar Klose is back. Joaquim Silva. That's a fun fight too. I see people shitting on this card. It's not bad.
It's okay.
Anderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Jack Shore, fine. Where has he been? Oralby versus Elvis Brenner is a banger. Gene Silva versus Gomes. Your girl Carolina. Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Malarkey's on there.
Bonfim, those brothers, man, the Bonfim brothers.
Exciting. Win or lose, it's exciting.
For sure. All right, so now
what a hype pay-per-view though, huh? We seem to have a ton of energy about it.
Dude. I mean, again, I'm probably just off the UFC 300 high, right? Where everything was just so stacked. And look, this is a decent card. It's not bad.
No, it's not bad. Ellis Brenner is fucking awesome. Except they gave him Oralby. I think Oralby is going to take him down a ton and hold him there. Maybe, I don't know. I'm worried about that matchup for Brenner, but Oralby is the real deal.
And then what do we have after this?
We have UFC St. Louis. So they're out of the Apex. Does that mean they're going to put together a good card to sell these tickets? What do we got? We got Derek Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento.
Okay, it's a fun fight for Derek Lewis.
Yeah, we got Alonzo Menafield versus Carlos Ulberg. That's a good fight. I like that fight.
Ulberg, man, on the up and up still.
Yeah.
I still think we haven't seen the best of Ulberg yet.
Yeah, agreed. Gooden versus Jusei is actually a very good fight. Jusei's got some dangerous striking, dude. And Gordon somehow does not move his head, but he hits so goddamn hard. So that's going to be a banger, I think. Ricci versus Torres, not bad. Our boy, Bruce Leroy, Alex Caceres.
Did Torres just have a baby?
She did. She's back now.
Hey, props to her, man.
Yeah, and props to Bruce Leroy, the guy who opens our show every week against Sean Woodson. That's such a fun matchup, dude. That's a very cool fight. Jake Hadley versus Charles Johnson. That's a fun fight. Like both those guys. Terrence McKinney's out here. Chase Hooper against Slavis Claus. Let's see. Robelis Despan against Waldo Cortez Acosta. Maybe he'll finally get someone who kicks his legs, but probably not. JJ Aldrich versus Veronica Hardy. Veronica Hardy, that's the girl. Diego Ferreira's back. Okay, this is a fun card, dude.
This card's actually pretty good.
This is a good card.
I like it. All right. Ooh,
we both like
and then what else do we have?
And then we got UFC 302 on June 1st in Newark, New Jersey. What do we got?
Is that International Fight Week?
I believe so. We got or no. Did I skip one? We did skip one. UFC Vegas 92. We're back to the Apex. Edson Barbosa versus Lerone Murphy. Banger fight. Love these guys. That's a fun fight. I wish it wasn't in the small cage because if Lerone's got a heavy wrestling game plan going into this one, that will heavily favor him. And it crowds Edson Barbosa as the kicker.
A couple fun fights in this one, though.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. Angela Hill versus Pinheiro is actually a good fight.
Love watching her fight. Yep.
Worley Alves versus Abus is a fucking what are we doing fight. But Tim Elliott versus Tatsuya Taira, that's a fucking great fight. Adrian Yanez is back against Vinicius. That's a fun fight. Your girl, Vanessa Demopoulos.
That's your girl. Thank you.
We got Vidal, who hits like a truck. We got what else we got? Tom Nolan. Tom Nolan's fun.
Yeah.
Chaos Williams was always fun against Christian Harris. Ooh, Omar C. That's someone to watch. Yeah, Clayton Rodriguez opening the card. That's a decent card. Anonymous says, when does the UFC start using the new gloves? I believe it is this card. I believe it's 302, which we'll move to right now. UFC 302. That's the one on June 1st. I believe that's International Fight Week. I believe that's the first one with yeah. So not this card, but the next one that we can switch to now.
And there it is.
There it is, UFC 302. I believe this is the first card with the new gloves. Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier. Do you think this goes differently than Dustin versus Habib?
No.
No? Damn. Just like that?
No. Do you?
No.
Oh, man. Hey, the co-main is pretty fun, too. Sean Strickland versus Paulo Costa.
Yeah, that's a fun fight. I'm surprised they even got that done, if I'm being honest. Both those guys are squirrely. Delize versus Fluffy Hernandez is a great fucking fight.
Always down to watch Roman Delize fight.
Yeah,
Dalton Almeida in there, too, against
the
Romanov?
last one he was in. Romanov versus Almeida, that's a fun fight. We got Jocelyn Edwards versus Eileen Perez. This is the fight with the most backstory on this card. Because, I don't know if you remember this, but the last time Perez fought... right before the fight, Jocelyn Edwards fought on that card too. They got into a scuffle, and Jocelyn Edwards' coach, I believe it was, hit Eileen Perez punched her, and it turned into this whole scrap behind the scenes, and that's why Eileen walked out with a black eye. I'm pretty sure it was. Hopefully I don't have those reversed, but I believe it was Perez that got hit by Jocelyn Edwards' coach, who's a male, by the way. And it was this whole deal. So now they're fighting. So there's some bad blood there.
Drama.
Yeah. Too bad Brendan Fitzgerald's not going to be on this one. I know Perez is his favorite fighter. Because last time she was twerking up against the fence, he was like, let's see in the house. He put his hand up.
Funny, dude. Yeah, I remember that. Classic.
Mickey Gall versus Basil Hafez is actually a fun fight. Hafez is the guy who fought Jack Della on short notice, and everyone was like, whoa. Grant Dawson's back in there against Joe Selecki. That's going to be a fun grappling fight, most likely. Phil Rowe versus Jake Matthews is a fun fight. Hyunsung Park versus Andre Lima. Lima is the guy who just got bit recently of getting bit fame. Sumadarji versus Joshua Van is actually a very fun fight too. Josh Van is someone to watch out for. Your boy Roman Kopylov on there against Cesar Almeida. Randy Brown versus Zaleski dos Santos. That's a very fun fight. Nico Price versus Morono. Morono just stepped in on short notice. That's a fun fight. This is a good card. Very good card.
This is another fun one, dude.
Yeah, you don't think Islam tries to stand with Dustin more than Habib did, and it goes a little differently?
No.
Think he goes right to the grappling?
No, I think there's a little bit of stand up in the beginning, but then shortly after he goes into the grappling. Very similar to Habib.
Yeah, I'm worried that Islam's gonna fall in love with the hands a little bit too much, but we'll see.
I don't know.
I don't think it's happening in this fight, but I think I don't think Islam's gonna have the staying power that Habib did at the top. I think eventually he's gonna strike with these guys a little bit too much, and I don't think Dustin's gonna be the one to expose that, but he's Dustin. You can never doubt Dustin. The guy comes through in big moments while he's the underdog constantly. So,
true.
Very fun fight. It's just at this point in Dustin's age and his hips aren't quick enough to defend takedowns, especially against the elite guys. I just don't think, unless he puts out Islam with a shot and puts him out. I don't think, because even if he hurts him, Islam's just going to fall back to that wrestling. And I think even a hurt Islam can take Dustin down. And yeah.
Hey,
but fun
Makhachev
fight.
is not he's not undefeated.
No, Pantoja knocked him out.
All right. Next, do we have Diaz versus Masvidal too?
Is that? I don't even know. I think
that's after that.
Yeah,
that's after that.
We're gonna skip some fight cards till we can talk about UFC 303, the return of Conor McGregor. Michael Chandler finally gets the fight. I don't know if he's making pay-per-view points, so I don't know if it's going to be worth it for him to sit out for a whole year to get this fight. because famously Donald Cerrone did not get a raise to fight Conor McGregor. So I don't know if Chandler is. Maybe he is. But it's almost, even if you don't, it's almost like you're betting on yourself, because if you beat Conor, even at this stage in the game, you propel yourself to things outside of the cage that will pay you a ton of money, just because of the name value that you gain. But it's going to be interesting to see what Conor we get, especially in this post USADA era. It's going to be interesting.
I'm down. I'm
Is
here
that
for it. And
170?
plus, we also have Andre Feely versus Cub
Against Cub
Swanson.
Swanson? What
Oh,
year
that's
is
going to
it?
be a banger. That's a banger, though.
Jamal Hill coming back to fight Khalil
Already
Roundtree. I don't know if that's a good move, but we'll see. But that is a very fun fight. Karate Hottie versus Jillian Robertson. That's my girl.
Yeah, Jillian Robertson. That's going to be a good fight.
Carlos Hernandez versus Ray Saruya. Saruya is the truth. That guy is incredible. I like that they're not just throwing him to the wolves. No disrespect to Carlos Hernandez. He's actually a very fun fighter himself, but it's not like he's, they're not throwing Saruya all the way to the top yet. And then Joe Pyfer versus Marc-Andre Barrio, because I think you're going to see some guys get added to this card as time goes on that the UFC wants eyes on specifically. Yep. You put him under Conor, that'll get eyes on him. Joe Pyfer is one of those. I think Ray Saruya is one of those. I think Khalil Roundtree, a win off Jamal Hill, they could potentially set up a title shot for Khalil, which is a very fan-friendly style for Alex Pineda to defend against Khalil Roundtree. So I could see them angling that way potentially. But we'll see how this card fills up.
Yep. All right, man. And those were the only cards I think we're going to cover, right? As we look ahead past UFC 300.
Past UFC 300. Karate Combat, real quick shout out. Luke Rockhold got a nice check hook KO over Joe Schilling, Smoking Joe Schilling. I saw someone was like, that wasn't a check hook. UFC commentary's got everybody calling check hooks when it's really just a right hook. But Luke Rockhold has always fought with his kicks. His southpaw left kick is fantastic, and if you get past that kicking range, he fades away with that check right hook over and over and over again. It got him to the belt. It lost him a lot of fights towards the end of his career in the UFC, but every single time you get past that kicking range, he throws that check right hook, and everyone's like, or I saw someone who was like, that wasn't a check right hook because his feet were planted. He didn't fade away. There was no footwork involved. But it's like, you can throw a check right hook off a lean. You don't have to hop back. You don't have to turn the angle to throw a check hook. As long as you're leaning back and you catch them coming in, that's a check hook. And Rockhold finally found it, knocked out Joe Schilling in Karate Combat. Also, Craig Jones hit not one, but two triangles on Renat Fakhradinov of the UFC. I like that the UFC is just letting guys go to Karate Combat and do grappling and all this fun stuff, but the pit that they have, like the actual physical realm that they're fighting in, no ropes, no cage, it's just the angled walls. Very cool, dude. Very, very cool.
I'm gonna have to start checking it out.
Yeah, Gansko says Karate Combat is my number 2. I love everything they're doing. Real innovation in combat sports. It's good, dude. The fact that it started off as kind of a meme because like Sam Alvey left the UFC and immediately became their heavyweight champ, and everyone's like, all right, well, we could write off Karate Combat. But since then, they've been putting together fun fight. Pettis versus Bendo again. The trilogy, that we got that in there. We got Craig Jones hitting off the wall submissions. Like, it's just the fact that they're doing jiu-jitsu and different striking. People are like, they're losing karate. And it's like, well, if they kept with just karate, they'd be out of business. So they're putting on fun performances. It's cool. It is cool.
Where does it come out?
They put a lot of stuff on YouTube, dude. Put a lot of stuff on YouTube. They had an event in Mexico on the beach where they have the pit at the beach. It's fucking cool, dude. They just do cool stuff. It's fun. Definitely check stuff out. They put a lot of stuff on their YouTube.
Dude, I'm going to check it out for sure. All right.
Anonymous says, I love the pit that Karate Combat fights in. It is very good, dude. The pit's the truth, I think, maybe. That might be the ultimate.
Yeah.
Ganska says the last card even had modified rules for Muay Thai versus karate. Yeah, they're just doing whatever the fuck they want. It's cool, dude. Like, there needs to be a promotion like that at all times, I think. Like, we can have boxing, we can have MMA, we can have Muay Thai. Just have some fun stuff. Ganska says all events are free on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll check them out for sure.
They got Boss Rune doing commentary. They got GSP there all the time. Like,
dude, Boss Rune, come on.
It's great.
Bang,
It's a
bang.
fun, yeah. Don't
Dude, one
you
of the best
ever
videos ever.
do this.
So funny. All right, man. I think we've come to the end of the show, right?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't too much to talk about this week. Try to get as much show out of what there was.
Hey, still we're able to pull off 50 minutes, dude.
That we did. That we did.
All right.
And next week we'll cover that UFC Vegas 91. I think that's it, though. Was there any other news? The main news. Story of the fight. That's Rich. Rich says, from AJ through our email, storyofthefight@gmail.com. What is y'all's favorite MMA event of all time?
Ooh,
Oh, there's been some good ones, huh?
that's a really tough one.
You want to go first? You want me to go first?
God, what was the one that I called out the beginning of the year? There was one last year that was really, really good, and I can't remember exactly which one it was. So you go first.
UFC 217 stands out to me always because we had 3 title fights in a row. We had Thug Rose versus Joanna. We had I think it was TJ versus Garbrandt, and then GSP versus Bisping. And all of them were finishes. All of them were titles changing hands. Like, it was just so good. 217 was awesome. I like UFC 300. Recency bias was very, very good. I like UFC 205 was another really good one. I think that was the first New York card. Connor versus Eddie, I think it was. That was very good. Omar says UFC 189. That's very good also. The Ryzen New Year's Eve event from 2019, I think it was. No, I don't remember what year it was, but there was a New Year's Eve event a couple of events ago from Ryzen that was very good. Shout out Ghost out there saying hello. Thanks for catching the live
Hey,
stream.
shout out Ghost.
If you don't follow Ghost on Twitter, definitely follow him on Twitter because puts out some very cool analytical stuff. Omar says 189 all-time favorite. It's hard to beat that one. You had Robbie Lawler versus Roy McDonald in the co-main, and then Connor versus
Oh,
Chad
dude, that
Mendes.
one's
That's a very good
so
one.
good.
One Winter Warriors was very good too. That was the Atomweight Grand Prix where Stamp subbed Ritu Fagat. That was a really good event also. Pride Final Conflict 2005 was very good. Shogun versus Overeem. Arona versus Vonderlei. Shogun versus Arona. Fedor versus Krokop. That's probably my favorite. Pride.
Dude, I think you named
Pride
off
Final
enough for
Conflict.
both of us. There was one that I had written down that I absolutely loved, and I mentioned it on one of the episodes. I just can't remember which one it was.
Omar says, "Hear me out. Sam Alvey winning winning shows the level of talent of the promotion." Talking about karate combat, but since then they've put on really cool stuff. Shout out Craig Jones, putting on some really cool
Romero,
jiu-jitsu
make sure you
matches.
check out some of the karate combat events. I definitely will.
Pride Bushido 9. Was that what it was?
Maybe. Man, y'all have these memories, man, like long-term memory where you just remember all these cards just like that. I can't do that, man. Everything's jumbled up there.
Yeah. I think Pride Bushido 9 was Gomi versus Azaredo, Sakurai versus Hansen. Bustamante was on there. Dan Henderson knocked out Gono. Yeah, that was a good tournament too. But I think it was Sakurai versus Jens Pulver knocked him out and then fought Gomi. Yeah, that was a good card too. But I think it was Pride Final Conflict 2005. That was let me see.
Here it is. UFC 290.
290. Which was that?
290, man. Volkanovski versus Yair, Pantoja versus Moreno, Dricus Duplessis versus Robert Whittaker. That was a shocker. Dan Hooker with the comeback over Jalen Turner. Your boy Bo Nichols rise. The ascension of Tatsudo Taida in that one. Robbie Lawler's retirement against Nico Price.
Not bad.
That was a really fun event for me.
Not bad at all. I swear it was Pride Final Conflict 2005. That was Shogun Arona, Fedor Krokop, Tank Abbott was on there. Verdun fought on that card. Igor Vovchanskin versus Nakamura. Gansko says Nashville Strikeforce card. We just had the anniversary of that brawl. Nick Diaz post-fight mayhem
Yeah.
jumps in there. Starts talking.
It was just like
He
this
wasn't even really
last
talking
week, wasn't
shit,
it?
dude. Yeah, I think last week was the anniversary of that. Omar says, my fandom will be complete once I finally attend a Japanese New Year's Eve card. Fuck, I want to do that so bad, dude. So bad. What was the New Year's Eve card at Ryzen had where the kid who won the gold medal in the first year of the Olympics for skateboarding, they opened the card with him fucking board sliding down a giant rail down the ramp,
It
dude.
wasn't that long ago.
So fun, dude. No, it was just a few years ago.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
well,
there's
we
been some
might
good
not be
ones.
doing the Japanese New Year's Eve card, dude. I'm looking forward to that one event in September. I'm telling you right now.
The one event. Oh yeah, one in September is going to be fun. One Fight Night 5 was in Manila. That was the one I went to in Manila, the Philippines. So like that one will always hold a special place in my heart. Rich says, from Alex through DMs on X, is there a fighter that you originally didn't like for some reason that you have really come around on? Oh god, dude, that's my whole MO, dude. That's my whole fandom.
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Right off the bat, first person I think of is Bisping. I used to hate Bisping with a passion. But towards the end of his career, him knocking out Luke Rockhold, all that stuff really turned me around on Bisping. For a long time, I really didn't like the guy. No disrespect to Bisping, but that's the first person that comes off my mind.
Maybe I'll catch a lot of flack for this, but mine was TJ Dillashaw, man.
You didn't like him at first?
No, I didn't like
That's
him
crazy.
at first.
Alpha male.
Yeah. No, but so I felt like, okay, like this guy's coming up really quickly, and I almost felt like Uriah Faber was really pulling for him to get the championship opportunity against Renan Barão, because Uriah had just lost, and I don't know if you remember the post-fight interview. He's like, "Hey, like I know I just lost, but y'all got to give my boy TJ Dillashaw a shot at the title, blah blah." And I was like, "Let him earn that shit. Let him earn it." You know what I mean? And but coming through and getting the title, and then after that, he leaves Team Alpha Male. A little snake in the grass, as Conor McGregor calls him. So, dude, my hate for TJ Dillashaw just kept on growing. And then as time continued passing on, I was anti-TJ. And then afterwards, like as time continued going on, I was like, dude, I kind of like this guy. And then he comes out to Red Hot Chili Peppers music, like some of my like favorite songs, and I'm like, I don't like him, dude. Don't like him. Like, and then his fighting style, he's an absolute dog, man. His heart in there, you know what I mean? Like, what was it? His shoulder that was busted?
Yeah, all the time.
Through the entire fight, though, one of his last fights, was it against
he came
Corey
in with
Sandhagen?
it. Well, he came in with it detaching against Aljamain Sterling.
Man, but just an absolute dog, man. I actually really enjoyed watching TJ Dillashaw fights by the end of his career. I don't know. I don't know if I would say the end of his career, but I haven't seen.
I was a TJ defender. I was a TJ defender that whole time until he tested positive, and I was like, come on, dude. I've been defending.
But you know.
Yeah. Shout out Jeff through our email storythefight@gmail.com. How are the rankings calculated originally for the top 15 fighters? Rankings for the UFC, at least, the rankings are decided by sports journalists that have been covering the sport for a long time. A lot of them are no longer sports journalists, but they still they're not writing anything for anybody, but they still have a say in the rankings. Yeah, it's all sports writers basically that come up with that. But I think Brian Campbell still does too. Shout out Brian Campbell. Omar says always like TJ because he looks like Doug Funny.
Who's that? We got to pull it up now.
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Please do. Hey, these are good
That's
questions.
So funny, dude. You didn't remember watching Doug?
No.
I guess yeah, you wouldn't have.
No, dude.
You're older than me.
Yeah. But now I want to see this.
Let's see. I just pulled it up. Let me share my screen. That's so funny, dude.
I mean, is that a...
I think Rich got it. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, geez, dude.
That's TJ right there.
I see it, though.
That's so funny, dude.
I see it, though, for sure. I like it. All right.
That's hilarious.
Anything else, Rich? Did anything else come through? From Jesus through our DMs on X. If this podcast covered a different subject, what would it be? It doesn't have to be sports. That's a really good question.
Oh, damn. The only other thing that I could talk about,
Baseball?
not anymore. Baseball's dead to me.
Oh, dang.
Lose my number. Hey, Rob Manfred, lose my number. Movies maybe movies.
Oh, there we go.
That'd be fun. I think
For
movies.
me, it would be anything and everything Dallas Cowboys, man. I know you said it doesn't have to be sports, but dude, I could talk Dallas Cowboys all day, every day. My freaking son is named Dallas for a reason. My little dogs, I have two little dogs at home. One of them's named Jerry Jones, the other one Jimmy Johnson. Like, dude, I'm obsessed with the Dallas Cowboys. So Dallas Cowboys for me. Great
Damn,
question.
Ganscow in the chat says
Hey, let's go
Cowboys. I didn't
Cowboys, dude.
realize.
Hey, let's go, Ganscow. Dude, hey, Ganscow, are you from the Dallas area? If not, I'll see if when we meet up September at the one event, if I can bring you something from Dallas that's Dallas Cowboys related so you can have an
Ooh,
actual
look at
piece
that.
from Dallas. That'd be sick. But yeah, great questions coming through. Last one from Dan through our DMs on X. If you guys were MMA fighters, what gym country would you have your training regimen in ideally? Such a good question, man.
First off, I wouldn't be. But if I was, you got to go. You got to go somewhere Denver, right? I think that's the move. If you could pick anywhere in the world, I think you go Denver, just because the elevation. If you could
It
weaponize
depends.
cardio,
Like,
big deal.
am I trying to come in Bangkok ready? Like what am I
True.
doing here? What do I go heavy wrestling and go AKA?
Yeah, you could, and then just be injured your whole career.
Yeah. Do I just
Remember when that was AKA? Like everybody just referred to AKA as like training way too hard, and everybody's getting injured all the
yeah,
time.
everybody was hurt left and right.
Ooh, Rich says Mexico City higher. No, yes, but there's not really any like top level gyms for MMA in Mexico City. Not a lot to choose
Yeah,
from.
maybe Kansas City if James Krause was still training, so I can both win money off betting
Yeah, there you
and
go.
MMA. Dude, like I have to think about these things. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
no, but we also have Kill Cliff. That's really good, right?
yeah.
You
Obviously,
have
Chokliff's a good one.
man. There's just so many options, but you got to pick one. Well, what would it be? You're
Um,
going Denver?
yeah, elevation maybe elevation fight team. That might be the move for MMA. Yeah, I think so.
I might go uh, Ray Longo, Matt Serra. And the only
Oh,
reason
that's a
I say
good
this is
shout too.
because
Actually,
that that group
yeah,
seems
that's
so
good.
close knit, dude. That I would probably go over there. Plus, jiu-jitsu over there is top notch. Ray Longo has a fantastic uh, MMA mind, right? Great
Yeah,
strategies. Great wrestling too. Training with Aljo, Marab Valishvili. Come on, dude. Send me over to the East Coast.
yeah, get you over there. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
actually Ryzen 33, New Year's Eve, 2021 to 22. That was the Ryzen card, by the way, that I was thinking of. Very good.
nice.
If you
Nice
haven't
way to
seen it,
bring it
very
back.
good one.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it looks like that was the last question according to our producer, Rich. Oh wait,
Rich has
a
a
question from
question.
Rich. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is Karate Combat not spelled Karate Combat with a K? Well, it seems like a misbranding opportunity. I've been saying that since the beginning. What the fuck? How do they not have Karate Combat? Maybe they were just too scared of having two Ks back to back in case someone slipped another one on there. They just wanted to steer clear of that drama. Brian says scolding Jerry Jones for getting into the trash can is a hilarious image.
Oh, dude. Yeah, you should see, man, because we only call him by his full name when he's in trouble. So we'll be outside. We'll be like, Jerry Jones, come inside right now. And it's
Neighbor's like, what?
yeah, exactly. Classic, dude. So good. But I think that was it for all the questions, right?
Yeah. Thank you guys for helping us round out to an hour for the show.
Absolutely, that was a lot of fun. We should probably do Q&A more often. If anybody, maybe we do like a little segment, so we don't have to wait for something like this. If anybody has any questions, they can shoot them our way. And at the end of every episode, maybe Rich tosses some questions out if we have them.
Yeah,
Why not? It's a
it'd be
lot of
fun.
fun, dude. It's a lot
It'd
of
be
fun.
fun because we don't always cover like current event news and stuff. So like most of the time we're just doing fighter recap or like fight recaps and stuff like that. So maybe having Q&As would be a cool thing just so we can also fit in some like current event type stuff too. If something happens, someone has a question about like, oh, what's your take on this type stuff,
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, shout out to Brian Ganskow. I know Omar had hopped on as well. Shout out to everybody that sent questions, whether it was through X or through the email. That made it a lot
Anonymous,
of fun. Anonymous, Ghost.
Ghost.
Oh man,
Appreciate
just
y'all.
such a good time whenever anybody hops on. They start chatting MMA with us. Toasty, of course, it was just his birthday not that long ago. So shout out Toasty. And just a
Coming
reminder
up
for
in
everybody.
May, 1 month away.
If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, goes a long way. If you don't like watching, but you like listening, where can they find us, Will?
Yeah, Story of the Fight on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts, anywhere podcasts are found. Social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch. Story of the Fight. StoryofTheFight.com.
You can also find merch on there.
Yeah, StoryofTheFight.com. You can see the merch. We got the hoodies. We got the hoodies. We got the shirts.
We didn't even call each other to say let's match. It just happened.
It's just chilly here.
Yeah, same here.
I had to put the hoodie on.
I guess that's what people do, huh? When it's cold, put hoodies on.
So why
All
not
right,
get
shout
one
out to
of these
everybody.
when you're cold?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, that's all I got. In case anybody was wondering who this podcast is produced by, none other than Richard Bustos. Hey, shout out, Rich. Great job this episode, man. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.